as they say in the Big Brother house, things, if you're there a week, it's almost like, a month. It's a lot of time, and there's no distraction other than the social game. And being emotional and all the things that I did in the game were things that just kind of came naturally as to how things were happening moment to moment. And so it was not strategy, it was just raw emotion that got the best of me plenty of times.
Welcome to the Secret Alliance podcast, where we talk about the game of Big Brother with the people who play it. Like yours truly, Jason Guy from BB Season 3. Yeah, way back there. Flash forward to Season 26, and we're hearing from the house guest who left during this season's first double eviction. Double eviction night, baby. The announcer does it every time. It's classic. Angela Murray, the 50-something mom and super proud grandmother, works as a real estate agent in Syracuse, Utah. Angela will probably most be remembered for her emotional gameplay and strong confrontations. We want to let you know we submit questions for these evicted house guests to the Big Brother PR team. They send us the pool of video responses that we share here. We don't interview these house guests directly since they're sequestered as part of the BB26 jury. In this interview, Angela gives her thoughts on all that emotional gameplay and whether it was strategy or just pure passion. And she's also discussing some regrets about one competition in particular, a mistake that she says may have led to her eviction. We'll let her explain it. Angela's answering a couple of questions from the Secret Alliance podcast. We wanted to know who she thinks is playing the best game right now, and we asked about interactions with other house guests and what she thinks about some people saying they can be considered emotionally manipulative.
That house was a pressure cooker. And so generally in life, I do wear my heart on my sleeve. Am I this emotional and cry my everyday life? No. It takes a little bit more than what was happening to me outside of this house to cry like that and to be that emotional. Do I think any of the crying was manipulative? I wasn't wanting it to be that way. If that's the way it was perceived, that is not my intent. It was never my intent. I just tend to read people, and whether it's right or wrong, I look into their eyes. I try to judge and feel where they're coming from and read faces and emotion. And I guess by shedding tears, it could come off looking like I was trying to be emotionally manipulative. But trust me when I say that was never my intent. That was not a strategy. It was just raw emotion coming through. And if it helped me along the way, I didn't look at it that way. I just thought, Angela, just play with your heart, just play full out and be yourself. And if tears come falling, it's because that's the way I'm feeling at that moment. And there were a lot of moments where tears came falling, obviously, but they always were very genuine and raw emotion is really what it was. I was never trying to manipulate anyone ever in this game in that way. I just felt, and I felt with my whole heart and my whole being, and I don't regret that. And no, I was never trying to be manipulative in this game. I didn't play that role. The player that I feel that is still left in the game and playing the very best game, in my opinion, is Chemo. I think he's a very likable person. He brings a lot of joy to the house. He aligned early with people and put himself in a situation that kind of was a target, but also kept him safe. And he continues to surprise me with his grit, his tenacity, and his sheer enjoyment of the game. The guy is just on the ride of a lifetime, and he is having so much fun, and I'm so proud of him. And I can truly see him going to the end, and it's exciting, and I hope he does. Looking back, do I have any regrets on confronting Matt? No, I don't. It could have been the very thing that got me evicted from the house almost right away. It was something that I had to spend a lot of the game apologizing for and trying to recover. But I will never, ever feel as though I shouldn't have stood up for myself. I in the moment, it was high pressure, emotions and adrenaline and sleep deprivation. So I'm not sure on how aggressive Matt's words were to me in that moment, but being there in that moment, I could tell you they felt strong, they felt aggressive, and it put me in a spiral. And so I don't regret confronting him and parading what he had done and what he had said to me. So no, I don't regret it. I really don't. So you probably saw a lot of explosion from me. Was it strategy? No, it wasn't strategy. Did I think that I was going to have to stand up for myself so early in the game? Was I going to be in a pressure cooker situation and have paranoia constantly and sleep deprivation? No, this was not strategy. This was strictly just raw emotion. It was very, very, very difficult for me. Probably some of the most trying times in my life, going through some of the situations that I did in the house. And it was not strategy. I was just literally living moment to moment, day to day. And as they say in the Big Brother house, things, if you're there a week, it's almost like, a month. It's a lot of time, and there's no distraction other than the social game. And being emotional and all the things that I did in the game were things that just kind of came naturally as to how things were happening moment to moment. And so it was not strategy. It was just raw emotion that got the best of me plenty of times. So I didn't use the board to write out my work because I just felt like I knew the answer. And honestly, I was going to put 10,000, and I should have trusted my gut and just put the 10,000 down. Things could have maybe looked differently depending on whatever Chelsea was going to answer, but it was a pivotal mistake that I soon won't forget. And it may be, it is the actual thing that led to my demise and my eviction. So it's a moment where I literally lost $750,000, and I will forever be regretful of not taking a little bit more time and writing it out. The thing that I'm looking forward to discussing the most with the other jury members is just how that double eviction went down, and how quickly I realized that people were running to the rooms and dispersing and getting away from me because they had a strategy in mind. I think that they all knew that if it came down to it, I think that Chelsea and Mackenzie and Cam had it all planned out, that depending on who won what, they had already made me feel like I was just a pawn, and they made Chemo feel like he was just a pawn before that final veto. And so they knew they had a backup plan. It was either going to be with me or Chemo. What do I look forward to the very most when I get to the jury house and I get to talk to the other house guests? It will probably be about the double eviction. I can't wait to fill them in on all of that and what my perception of the house guests were in those moments. Those were huge. And I look forward to sharing that with Leah and Quinn and T-Court. If I had stayed this week, who would I have targeted and sent home? Well, that's a no-brainer. I probably honestly would have sent home Chelsea. She lied several times in this game. And one in particular was a conversation that she and I had, and she twisted and manipulated my words to my very closest ally in the house, which was Leah. And she hurt Leah, and Leah thought that I hurt her, and I didn't. And that was something that I was definitely holding on to and would have held on to had I stayed. So I would have sent Chelsea to the block and hopefully out the door. Listen, I think that, and after talking to other house guests, I think they felt the same way. We all went in with an idea of kind of some strategies that you might pursue once being in the house. However, every season is different, and you quickly learn that because of the people. The people make it different. So no matter what I thought I might do or what I might say as a strategy throughout my game, it just was never going to happen because you don't know what you're going to be up against. You don't know what people are going to be like and what their strategies are going to be once they're in the house as well. And so all I knew in early moments was to just try to bond, make relationships, love people, love them hard, and try and figure out who it was that I was going to ride this crazy game with. And I couldn't find anybody who really, really wanted to strategize with me and work with me. And I so wanted that. I so desperately wanted that. I think just being in a home with 15 other individuals to begin with, and being in a pressure cooker situation, and paranoia is running wild, and sleep deprivation, it got the best of me. And I am trying to keep up with people that are half of my age. And I did a darn good job of that. But it was very difficult to navigate after I had some blowups. These blowups were not intentional. I was standing up for myself. A couple people knew how to push my buttons, Lisa and Quinn. And so I should have seen through that and recognized that it's how I react that was potentially going to lead to my demise, and that I constantly had to make up for throughout the game. But I do think that even though those things happened early on, all the time that I had spent with the house guests, they quickly learned who I was, how I work, and that I am just a very honest person. I didn't tell secrets. I didn't go room to room after being told very, very vital information. I kept it to myself. And people quickly learned how trustworthy I was. And that was something that I didn't. That was something that I did know I would do through the game, is just be trustworthy. Because if you don't have trust, you've already lost. So I knew I would be trustworthy. Keeping America on its toes with some of the things that I did throughout the season were unintentional and totally raw, and just me. And those moments, you just got it. And I just got it, and they just got it. And that's just the way that it was. I didn't do any of that stuff intentionally. It was all in the moment. I didn't think, I just reacted. And looking back, some of the things I wish that I had thought through, and I wish I would have gotten at least a solid 6 hours of sleep each night. There you have it. None of it was intentional. None of it was planned. None of it was strategy. Just be raw, be myself, and have heart, and build relationships, and be honest. And I think I did a darn good job of all of that. Yeah, I would love to watch. I'll probably be mortified, but I would love to watch and see what was going on behind those doors that I was so paranoid about, and to see if any of my intuition or paranoia was accurate. I would love to watch. Will I be watching right when I get home? No, because I will be holding on to those grandbabies and not soon letting go, because I have missed them so much. So I'll watch, but it'll probably be a bit before I do.
A lot to take in from Angela. We heard her say that confrontation with Matt, she doesn't regret. She does say it was something that impacted her game. She recognizes that it affected the game there in the Big Brother 26 house, but she's not going to stand down from it. The question that we had for her was about that emotional manipulation, and something to kind of unpack here, where Angela says it wasn't intentional being manipulative, if that's what people thought was happening there. She said her emotions were genuine. It wasn't some type of strategy. Emotions just really got the best of her, it seems. And Angela recognized she was becoming more and more of a target in the Big Brother 26 house. And that's why on double eviction night, baby. They sent her packing. Chelsea as HOH made this move. And I thought that it was interesting that Angela talked about the pressure cooker situation of the BB house. And it is. People forget that you don't have your cell phones. You don't have the internet. You have, I don't know, maybe now they have something they can write with. Angela mentioned that as a comp mistake. She should have written out her work. But I seem to remember in 2002, it was a long time ago, but obviously no computer, no internet, no tech. We didn't have any writing utensils in our BB house. We did have a microwave, and we would try to set the time on that microwave. And we based it on our Thursday night live show. We're like, it's probably 8, maybe it's 9, but we'll just call it. It's 8 o'clock on the East Coast live. So that means it's 5 o'clock here in California in the Big Brother house there on the lot there in Burbank, California. And listen to this. We were just trying to survive, figuring out, what the time was and how to make it in there when hours had passed and all of that. Set the microwave time. Beep, boop, beep, 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 boop, boop. But within hours, the Big Brother production team would send us into the backyard, lock down the house, and somebody from production would come in and unplug our microwave. And then we're back to the flashing 12 o'clock. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what time it is anymore. Oh, it was wild in the BB house. So yes, Angela, we hear you. It's a pressure cooker. I could attest to that. All our former players sure can. And it was a roller coaster. Let's just say that. The ride Angela sent us on. There it is. But now it's time to put on the brakes, raise your lap bar, unbuckle your seatbelts, and everybody, we're going home. We appreciate you checking out the Secret Alliance podcast. Make sure you tell someone who loves Big Brother all about us. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, watch some more from BB26 and other previous seasons, and leave us your comments. Thanks.